the greatest thing because it's keeping our conjunto culture alive, man, and that is the greatest thing. That's my mission in life, man, is to play conjunto music around the world so people can and really enjoy what they're missing, man. Is accordion y bajo sexto, man. There's nothing like it, man.
Nothing like it. And when you first picked up the instrument, did you think it was going to take you around the world?
I never thought in my wildest dreams it would. I just was playing because my dad was an accordion player, and I was at the age of 8 years old. My dad took me to the pawn shop, and he said, "Hey," he showed me this bass guitar. And he goes, "You like this?" And I said, "Sure." He goes, "All right, I'm going to buy it because I need a bass player this weekend." So I learned, what were the three chords, primera, segunda, tercera. Pero so I had to learn real quick. But yes, and I just played music because I loved it. I loved it. I was attracted to the accordion and the bajo sexto, man, especially the bajo sexto. It's just every time the conjuntos would start playing, man, I'd be anxiously waiting to hear it, and so that's how I just and I remained even today, man. I still hear the music and I'm attracted to it.
Oh, okay. And you've recorded with a lot of people.
Oh man.
Who sticks out for you?
Well,
I mean, don't want to leave names out. But
there is so many good recordings that I've got to record with. Blessings, man, just blessings. Of course, Flaco Jimenez is my mentor, and I've recorded a lot of recordings with Flaco Jimenez, and because I got recorded with Flaco and I got to play with Flaco, it led me to other things and branched out to different other things to where I even got to record with the Rolling Stones in 1995, I think, 96, something like that.
Yes, sir.
And the Voodoo Lounge album. And there's a song called Sweethearts Together, and I'm on the bajo sexto there. And I never thought, growing up that, my bajo sexto would take me to record with Rolling Stones. I've recorded with, Lyle Lovett, Willie Nelson. There's so many, I can't even...
La Santa Cecilia.
La Santa Cecilia, there's so many, Los Lobos.
Yeah.
And just on and on, there's... I've recorded, and most of all, more importantly, I've been able to represent conjunto music around the world.
Sir.
We've gone to play in different parts of the world, man. We got to play in Russia. We got to, we did 2 tours in Russia, and we got to play in Bangladesh, which I never thought, Bangladesh, my God, We played in Dhaka, Bangladesh. It was the biggest folk festival they have there. And we got to tour China 5 times, I think, and went to Hong Kong, went to Beijing, to Shanghai, Mongolia. We played in Mongolia, and and it's like people tell me, "Oh, there's Tejanos in Mongolia," and I'm like, "No, there's not a single Tejano. It's all Mongolians or Chinese people." But we're playing the music and playing conjunto music.
Yeah.
And so, Europe, we've gotten to different parts of Europe, Italy, Spain, Germany. We've been to South America, to Argentina, Canada, Hawaii. Just blessings. To represent Texas and conjunto music, especially, which was born and bred right here in El Valle de Texas, man. Is where conjunto music was started.
Yes, sir.
Which, of course, it came down from the Germans that settled here, and they brought over the button accordion, because in those days there was no stores or factories that made accordions. They came from, the Europeans.
Yeah.
So, but that's how we got it. We picked it up from them, and then we incorporated the bajo sexto, which came from Spain through, the oud is the Middle East bajo sexto, and it's fretless, and it's got this pot belly in the back of it, right? And so the neck is backwards. So the oud went into Spain, and then they called it laud, and then from there it came into Paracho, Michoacán, Mexico, and it's where Martin Macias learned how to make guitars, from a luthier, and then migrated to San Antonio and they started making the bajo sextos back then.
And Macias bajo.
The Macias is there's nothing like it, man. I mean, there's don't get me wrong. There's these great guitar makers around the world. I mean, in Monterrey and in Mexico, and even in states. But the Macias is the one, man. That's where everybody, tried to get to make a bajo like a Macias.
Yeah.
But the secret, man, is that they have that secret of the aged wood, and the tone of a Macias is just like a depth tone of it. It's just no other, man. They roar.
Yeah.
I call the bajo sexto the grizzly bear of all guitars, man.
And you're one heck of a.
Oh man, thank you. I just I learned from the original guys from Santiago Almeida. I listened to him when I was growing up, and the way he would bajear, and nowadays they don't use the low strings anymore, but I still use them, and there's still a few people that still do, and that's the whole sound of the bajo sexto. That's why they made them strings like that. That's what they're for. But it's a beautiful instrument, man. I love the bajo sexto, and you can direct that instrument toward the way you feeling, man. If you're feeling happy, you make it alegre. You play alegre. If you're sad, well, you can play sad. But it responds. The instrument bajo sexto responds when you play it with a feeling, man.
Sir. And you said you went to what, Bangladesh? You went to
Yes. I mean, we
all over, and even if they don't understand,
they don't understand the language, the singing, but they get into the beat.
yeah, and it brings them together.
Yes, exactly. Because the first time when we went to China, I said, man, what are we going to play? And the guy that booked us, the promoter, he was actually a college, one of the college band directors.
Yes, sir.
That brought us, and it was through what do you call it, like a grant, for us to go, and we had to get permission and this and that, and this is a communist country, so when we played these beautiful theaters, and so we had to send in our set list of all the songs.
Yeah.
Then they translated, into their language. I had to translate it into English, all the songs, and then they translated it into Chinese. So that way, when we're playing, they had the teleprompter on the side, and they had their programs, and they're reading the
lyrics,
the name of the song, and then they're reading the lyrics on the teleprompter. So we would play like Cielito Lindo or something, or Canción Mixteca, and they would be able to understand what we're singing. But for the most part, we're playing a polka, alegre, and I'm thinking, what are they? Are they going to respond? Are they going to boo us? Are they going to throw tomatoes at us, or what, man? And then a ratito, you see someone tap. You see they're tapping their foot, and then they're moving their head, whatever. They're grooving to it, man. They get into it, man. And so then after the song finishes, they standing ovation, man. They love it, because it's the Conjunto music has an attraction to it, man. It's like a magnet.
Yes, sir.
And so you're drawn to that because that's part of our culture, man. This is what we, this is la música de nuestra tierra acá in Valle and throughout Texas, man. And it's growing up, in las piscas, working the fields and so forth. This was our entertainment, and everybody, in me growing up in New Mexico. My dad was an accordionist, and he had an accordion in most of the rooms, in the living room, in the den. He had one, and after we'd have dinner, pues agarraba el acordeón y yo el bajo, and we'd play, and until my mom got, hey, yeah,
go to sleep,
yeah.
So, when did you like, wow, I can do this for a living? When was?
Well, when I played with my dad, we were, we would play, 3-4 nights a week, and so, and I'm a 7-8-year-old kid, man, and I'm 7 years old, man, and I was actually playing on stage with my dad.
Wow.
And so the money, and back then I'd make $25 a night or whatever, but I would have to go to my mom because I was 7 years old, 3 nights that's $125 I'd make for the weekend. What's a 7-8 year old kid going to do with that? So
That's a lot of money back then.
but it was used to get groceries, to bring food to the table, at the house and so forth. So, so that was pretty much when I started to make a living using it, because and when I even got out of high school, and me and my brother had our own conjunto.
Baca
The
Brothers.
Baca Brothers, yeah. We would play, all the weddings and anniversaries of clubs, whatever. We were probably the only conjunto in that area, in the state of New Mexico, that played conjunto. There was a lot of norteño conjuntos, that played the norteño style with a saxophone, which was a beautiful music too, man. When they harmonized, and los rieleros were real popular, and conjunto primavera and stuff like. But it's and then when I actually got, I guess to answer your question, when I got to tour with the Texas Tornadoes for 10 years, that's when I started making money.
Yeah.
Because I would make these, we play for 50, 60, 75 bucks a night, me and my brother a piece or whatever. And then from there I went to the Texas Tornadoes, and it was like, whoa. Then I started making a paycheck, man, a real paycheck.
It wasn't $125.
No, it wasn't 125 times 10, man, And so that's when I was able to save money, and then eventually I moved to Texas, in 1997. And I've been here since. And it's just something about Texas that separates it from any state. Texas is amazing, man. It has a root, because the music, when I was living in New Mexico, we were playing Tejano conjunto music. My dad was listening and learned from Narciso Martinez. So, it comes from here, man. It comes from Texas, man. And it branched out to Mexico, to Arizona, to California, up north, whatever, So, by the time I the Texas Tornadoes, I was able to, save up and pay my insurance on my truck, whatever, and and then later on, when I formed the Tex Maniacs, at first it was hard. It was playing kind of like started all over, to try to get to that status to the Texas Tornadoes, which it was very hard to do, and it's still hard, man. And but I was able to, thank God, we won a Grammy, in 2010,
yes,
and that gave us a boost right there, And so after that, man, I was able to pay my mortgage, and buy, buy a house, and make a living, and play music, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, man. It's still work, man. And so, Y el otro día me pagaron el agua. Grammy Award winner Max Baca, me pagaron el agua.
Oh, your pals do, man. So the bills are changing colors. They're getting serious.
But it happens, man. We're humans, man.
It does.
But we managed to get it back. Get the wrench and go out there and turn it back on.
Yeah. Y lo que no sabe la gente aquí, when they come into the museum, right up to the podium, right there where they're going to put their name and where they're from. Y tanto, ¿quién te está viendo ahí? Mr. Max Baca. For real, it's
yes,
right there.
I'm
Right
very,
next to
very
those-
blessed to be considered the youngest conjunto in the Hall of Fame. And I'm very, very grateful and very blessed. And
Yes, sir.
when Mr. Avila called me and told me, and I said, man, I'm honored. I accept, I'm honored. So it was a very nice ceremony. Everything was really, really nice, well organized, and it's a blessing, man. My dad would be proud of me, man. This means more than to have a Grammy.
Yeah.
To be in this thing right here, this Hall of Fame museum, it means more than to have a Grammy, because the Hall of Fame leaves a legacy for my grandkids, for the younger generation that will walk in here someday and say, who's that? Or, I know that guy, or I heard his music, or whatever, And a Grammy it's cool to have a Grammy, but it's more like a paperweight. I mean, doesn't pay the bills, but it gives you a boost though.
Yeah,
You know, it
it's an
sure
edge.
does. Yeah, it
Yeah.
gives you a boost and it upgrades your status, I guess you want to call it. You know,
Yes, sir.
but como quiera, my dad always was you know, always remember where you come from. You know,
Yes, sir.
and remain humble
Yes, sir.
throughout your career and you know, and that's why I am, man. I'm one of the guys, man. You know, I'm just one of the guys.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Muchas gracias, Mike.
Y ya
Appreciate
sabes, esta es tu casita aquí en San
Gracias,
Benito.
no, me da gusto. Thank you so much. I encourage all the radio listeners out there that are listening on the internet to keep in touch to KHFR,
Conjunto Hall of Fame
Conjunto
Radio.
Hall of Fame
Yeah.
Radio, man, and spread the word out, man, to get more listeners, and it's you can't go wrong, man. Puro conjunto, man, del corazón to the core.
Yeah, right here on the corner of Fannin and Robertson in San Benito.
Esto,
They just put some speakers outside, so they're listening to us.
thank you, my friend.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Trio Conjunto Hall of Fame Radio. I got you right here, Sonny. You don't even have to. Hey, Sonny, what's going on?
Hey.
Yeah, we got Sonny, of course, Grammy Award winner Sonny Sauceda right here with us. Sonny, what's up, Dad?
Good afternoon, everybody. Whoever's listening, and thank you so much. We are here at the Texas Conjunto Hall of Fame and Museum, here along with Texas FOLKLIFE. We just finished hosting the Conjunto Apprenticeship Sustainability Project, and it's a showcase. It's a talk in music, talking about Conjunto, sustaining it, effects, pros and cons, some of the challenges, and just ways that we can keep moving the needle forward. So it's really exciting times, especially for me. Mostly I'm a musician for the most part, but I get to serve in this new role as Director of Music and Heritage. So super exciting stuff. There's a lot of overlap in music into the arts. And so for somebody like me, I believe this is probably the first time that a musician has been appointed to a post like this, especially for Texas FOLKLIFE.
Wow.
Thank you. So for 41, they've been around for 41 years.
Big old round of applause.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's what an honor and what a privilege and what a blessing. And of course, want to acknowledge all our board members, Dr. Alicia Oliver. A lot of these things that we're doing are her vision, and she is a bicultural anthropologist, and so she is very. The Valley holds a really special place in her heart. She is Afro-Latina, so she really gets it, and she understands la cultura, and she believes it's really important to amplify, to advocate, to preserve, and to celebrate Texas music, Texas roots music.
Correct.
Which encompasses conjunto, tejano, norteño, western swing, polka, Czech, and some of the even Texas blues we're starting to cover.
Wow,
so there's
that's
quite a
awesome.
bit of ground to cover. It's a statewide organization, and so there's a lot of work to be done. And so we're not a big staff, but we have they say that it's not about that's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what we're doing, man. We're just every day it's something new and spectacular, and just making new acquaintances and partnerships. Thank you to the Avilas, La Familia Avila, for allowing us to host this event. We absolutely love being here. We love coming here. Patricia, Joe, Pedro, everybody on the staff has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Rudy.
Thank you, man.
It's a wonderful thing, right? We have these relationships that they go from I've known the Avilas for a long time.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think I've ever had the pleasure and honor of spending so much time with them, and they're family, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing of music. My dad used to always say, we're not rich of music. No, we're not rich of money, but we're rich of music and friends.
Yep.
And for sure, the Avilas are more than friends; they're family, and so they always make us feel at home. Patricia always she's like my my prima, hey, I need help. Can you help me? I'm always in a bind. I'm always calling her butt.
Right.
I'm very needy.
Right.
So I'm the brother of 7 sisters. So I'm always calling upon a woman to rescue me. So Patricia always rescues me. So
And-
I appreciate that about her, and the family. They're all like that. They're all, of course, cut from the same cloth.
Right.
And so that love that mom and dad had, Mama Avila. It just transcends, right? And it's passed down. That's not something you learn in school. That's just something you're born with, and it carries over, right? You can tell a lot by people that you meet on how they were brought up,
Right.
what kind of parents they had. And although I didn't get to meet, their dad, you can tell that they were just, they grew up in a house full of love,
Yes, sir.
full of honor and integrity, and just a family of helping each other out. They don't live in the world of transaction. It's just about how can we help you, and it's that kind of love that music brings to you. And again, that's why we do that. We don't do this for the money or the women or the
Right.
drugs, right?
Right.
The good times. So we do it because we love it, and we love the people that we get to meet. Because
Right.
when you make friends everywhere you go, you're never alone in life.
Right. That's
And
right.
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm running for governor. Vote for me. I approve this message.
Everybody.
I approve this message.
And Sonny, thank you so
Yes.
much. I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, and I've seen when you first started
Yeah.
up to now, and the transition, just you progressing to this new style that oh my God, it really, really is amazing to see.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're just we're pushing the envelope. We're just continuing to shake the trees as we always do.
Right.
And we appreciate where we're at. I'll tell you what, being a part of some of the other sides of the world, in particular, Texas country, you know what happens when you start doing that? It makes you really appreciate what you have at home, right?
Wow, it
We
does,
go over there and
yeah.
hang out with the Texas country folks, where I'm sunny Sauceda.
Right.
But it always feels good to come home.
Wow.
Always feels so good
That's
to come
awesome.
home.
That's awesome.
Nowadays we come home and we relish in everybody else's success.
That's
We celebrate their successes. It's not about I won this award or this and that. I'm glad to see my friends winning. I'm glad to see my friends succeeding. Success is something different to everybody, but I really love it. I'm enjoying it, and I really this role allows me to kind of have a different viewpoint, right?
Right.
And so I really enjoy it. I always talk about all things Texas. And, when you start to look around and you have this bird's eye view of what's happening in the industry, when you start to really appreciate what they're doing and just kind of acknowledge them and show them that we appreciate them, and how much we love them, because they're here today and gone tomorrow.
That's right.
So we better love our artists and take care of them and tell them how much we appreciate all the music they're putting out. Not only putting out music, but going out on the road is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Not
Yes, it
everybody
is.
wants to do that. I'm sitting next to Max Baca. He did not have to be here. He's in
No.
a lot of pain right now. He might be enhanced today because he needs painkillers. But it's things like that, right?
Right.
It's for the love of the music, right? For the love of the music. Sometimes not even the money matters.
Right.
It didn't. But if you love it, you're gonna do it no matter what. So it really does. Like I said, this role allows me to appreciate things in a whole different light, right?
Right.
It really does. So I really appreciate everybody that was here, and of course what you're doing, the radio station, the Avilas. Thank you so much for having us, for
You're
hosting
very
us,
welcome.
and for I don't use the word promote anymore. We use the word amplify. We're amplifying.
Oh, okay. That's right.
We're amplifying what we're doing. And, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
And, it's great to be here. Everybody did a wonderful job at the Sustainability Project. It was great. Great to be part of
Awesome.
it.
And you know what, Sonny? I love that you're here. I got some of your songs here.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to go with?
Either one, I'm fine. You can play whatever you want. They're all my favorite songs.
Okay.
Each one of them, they're all my favorite.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. And
Thank you.
we'll be right back. This is Tree on Conjunto Hall of Fame Radio.